Thank you.
Yeah, it's recording now, I think. It seems
Mm,
so.
great.
Do you have ideas or questions, or do you want me to talk or
Uh, yeah. Yesterday, uh, we went to see the art show of my art. I don't know if I gave you yet. It's called "Love is a Skill We Can Strengthen."
I think so.
Oh, great! Maybe one day you can read it.
Yeah, it's here.
Yay! But this zine is talking about uh just how I think in the cultures it says love is important, but then people don't seem to study it very much. So then the zine is talking about ways to be more intentional about doing love and strengthening the skills and how to do that if we want to. But I was rereading the intro and it was talking about gender and ways of loving with gender. But I've been thinking so much lately about people who think they can pay for care when they're old so they don't need to love now. They'll pay people when they're old to care for them. But I think everybody needs care, not just elders and people who are dying. Like everybody needs care when they're babies or kids or grown-ups or teenagers or everybody needs care. Last time we talked about the stimming and I told you I made a really comprehensive list of my favorite ways of stimming. And you had said maybe I could try to video some of them and that could be part of the project. So, including the vocal stems cuz those ones I mean, I like the whole like the big body movement stems. I like those a lot. But the vocal stems I think are more strange, maybe. And I think the strange might be more interesting.
Would you like to share a couple of them now?
one in bed, a sleepy one trying to comfort myself is like I feel embarrassed. It's like it's like hmm, 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 like a little I think it's like a little animal noise like hmm, 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 hmm. Something it's not very it's repetitive, but it's not exactly regular. Like it has like a little variety to the little mammal sound. And then one that I do that is two tones, one higher and one lower. Then that one is more like how does that one go? It goes like mm, 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 mm. Mhm. I like I think the interval could change sometimes, but it's kind of like that. That feels really comforting to me too. And then sometimes I will do a certain tone like about 5 times in a row and then pause and then again. So that one is more like mm, 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 mm. And then no, I think it's usually lower than that. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, those are very comforting to me, those stems. But I was curious, like
Oh, I think you are frozen.
I can't live without touch, even if only to myself. I touch myself all the time. That's kind of how I could survive. But I don't know. I'm not. Part of me is interested in that, but I'm not planning to ever do that. If I was gonna do it, I'd have to do it in my own way. It wouldn't be like with a retreat.
Mm. Yeah.
How about you? Did you ever do that?
Did I ever do like the moment?
The retreat.
No. I mean, we can do it. Actually, I need it.
Someone was walking their dog, and I was doing this outside, and the the little dogs were barking at me, and the guy said something rude, and he was like, "Oh, she's acting weird," that I was scaring the dogs because I was acting weird. But then I thought, if we made a world where everybody was allowed to move how they wanted to, then the dogs would think it was normal, maybe, and they wouldn't be scared, or maybe they liked barking. Maybe it was okay.
Yeah, they are moving as well. Like dogs, they are moving. Like I think it's the dogs, the person. It's this person's interpretation of it, and maybe this
Right.
person misinterprets. Uh,
Yeah.
so we can invite all the people.
Yeah. I think that dancing is the solution. It's like the antidote to talking. I always think that I love language. I need language, but language can hurt me, and language can be too languagey. And then the movement, I think, heals me from the talking, and I would rather move while I'm talking, or I'd rather move after I'm talking to get better. Because maybe the language gets kind of stuck in me, and then the movement lets the language have have its course. It doesn't just lodge in my body. The language could just, it's not supposed to stay there. I think the language is supposed to move more.
Yeah. I think it has some political connotations as well, like soldiers, for example. They
Oh,
never do these things, or
right.
teachers in the classroom, they never do these things, right? Or
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it's related to like stillness. Um,
Yeah.
it's related to be serious, seriousness, and feels like grown up thing, or like meetings, and you
Yeah.
know but these things, moments,
Mhm.
it's a little bit abnormal in society, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I made this art myself the other day. This is just very, very quick. Did you see this one? I think it was on social media.
Really?
Valid, yeah. So this does not really have a glowiness or a aura but it does have, the lines are different and the colors are different. And I think the valid, to me that's a very important word for the all bodies are valid bodies is very important to me. I think validity is like about the truth, and the truth is like the most beautiful thing in the world to me. Truth.
Yeah. Do you think it's possible to show your truth through film?
I want to try, yeah, because I've tried many ways, so I hope so. But I had that vision on Sunday of how to do it with the spiritual experiences, because I feel I've been thinking a lot about sexuality and how my experience of being sexually violated at a very young age, I feel it meant I did not have a choice but to be a very sexual being. Like, others made that choice for me. And then I live with the consequences and I do the best I can, with the life I have. And I think I've done amazingly well. But, according to my own terms, not the world's terms. But similarly with religion, I've been having, mystical experiences as long as I can remember. And similarly, I don't make the choice. That just kind of like it comes to me and my choice is what do I do with it. So for me, searching for religion and doing like DIY religion is what else would I do? I would have to either like shut off that entire thing or I'd have to embrace it and do it in my own way. And so that's what I choose. I choose to do it in my own way. But a lot of people don't think that that's real. Like when I talk about God speaking to me, they would laugh at me or they would be condescending. They wouldn't believe that was real. Or they would think it was part of mental illness or something. But it was weird. Like it felt very different. It never felt like it wasn't even like the voices that I hear. It was totally different. But so I think maybe talking about that, telling maybe telling bits of the story and recording it and then somehow stringing the words together and stringing images together and voila, movie. I don't know. Did I ever tell you about when Jaguar came for me?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I was dying. Mhm. I was stuck in this jungle. I was under the anesthesia. I was stuck in a jungle, and Jaguar came and was trying to help me get out of the jungle. So Jaguar was leading me. I was working. I don't know if I had a machete. There was some way I was trying to get out, and Jaguar was leading me. And then I did get out, and then I did live. But I was very surprised because I had been worshiping Hindu goddesses for more than 10, 15 years. So to see Jaguar was a big surprise. But to get back to your question, now when God talks to me, usually it's my mom. I think my mom, when she died, she went into a cloud of energy, like red star Shakti energy, like a primordial mother energy of creative force that is somewhere kind of like in space. Like I think she's in this cloud doing this very important work of sustaining life in this red star cloud somewhere. And then I try not to bother her because I think she's kind of not a person anymore. She kind of is doing this other work uh, for Shakti energy. But then if I want to, I can kind of call to her, and I think she will differentiate a little bit and be my mom more. But I think her mom is there too in that Shakti energy. And maybe when I die, I'll go there too. I don't know. But my dad is definitely not in there. But yeah, I would go to the riverbed and I would lie on my tummy and I would pray and I would cry. And then sometimes my mom would speak to me. She would tell me that she was proud of me. And she would tell me that I was doing good work and she believes in me. She would tell me very, very good, kind, helpful things. And then I asked, is this good answer?
Oh, me? Just,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, whatever you want to say is an
Okay.
answer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then there was a man who was very hurtful to me, who I had loved, who came to visit me. He was very hurtful to me, and then I was trying to feel better. So I asked him if I could lie down on my tummy and if he would touch my back in a circle for 20 minutes, like set a timer and touch my back in a circle for comfort. But I had no idea what would happen when he did that. Because when he did that, I went on a journey, like a journey back through time to visit. I visited myself when I was a little child, when I was 2, and my brother when he was 2, and then my parents when they were 2, and then my grandparents when they were 2, and I was holding all the little children that we were and that they were. I was caring for the little child selves of them, and then, well, not all my grandparents. I think only 2 or 3 of my grandparents, but and then it was like, and then I was with my mom back when she was well, before she got sick, and I was touching her hair and I was holding her hand. Um, and then she gave me some messages at that time because I wanted messages from her. But the main message that she told me was to get away from that man who was hurting me. She said, "Get the fuck away from him. He's a piece of shit." She didn't usually talk like that, but I think she was very angry that I was staying connected to this hurtful person. So when my mom told me that, you know, I sat with that. I cried. I was crying the whole time that this man was touching my back in a circle. And then once the 20 minutes was up, I packed up my things. I left. I just, it was a very clear message. I wasn't gonna play anymore. So those are some examples. But I think what's most important might be what's most important might be how I feel about the other world that glows right behind this world, and the way that I'm making art feels to me. Mostly it's already there, not always, but mostly. And then it feels like a duty I have to pull it into this world, and it's pleasurable. It's not like a hard duty. It's like a fun duty. You know the stone garnet?
Oh, no.
It looks black, but when they're in a ring, they're like a really dark red.
Yeah.
But I get it. It's some kind of crystal store. I get something. It's very dense. It's like very heavy for its small size.
Mm.
I love this dense, and it's like it has these surfaces, and some of them are kind of slippery, and
Yeah.
it feels good when I touch it. To touch the slippery place, and it feels good to just hold it. It's very I love holding rocks. It's very comforting. I was in a meeting the other day and I was holding this rock the whole meeting and it felt so helpful. But if I read online, it'll tell me what quality this is supposed to have, but I don't even remember. Whatever it has is helpful. It's very solid. Can I read you a poem about my friend? Because I have a poem about him.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll be right back. I'm going to get it.
Okay.
Okay. This poem is called Addict. He is the kind of guy who takes a bunch of naked pictures, interspersed with not naked pictures, and wants to show you not naked pictures, but you accidentally see some unexpected dick. He's the kind of guy who reads difficult books because his head craves exciting, brilliant difference. He's the kind of guy who needs to sedate the fuck out of himself before he can take a greyhound. He is the kind of guy who only gets into relationships with men who abuse him. He's the kind of guy who always needs a ride. He's the kind of guy who made art in spring that looks strangely like the art you made in spring. He's the kind of guy whose family will no longer speak with him. He's the kind of guy who, when you get a collect call, you assume it's him calling from jail. He's the kind of guy who says he's gay, but you suspect there's more to that story. He's the kind of guy who says he loves you, but can't really see you. He's the kind of guy who mentions drugs he's using over Facebook Messenger, which you suspect is not the best idea. He's the kind of guy sleeping on the street, having sex for money. He's the kind of guy you think is talking crazy, then later it suddenly hits you what he meant. He's the kind of guy who will use you until you decide to cut him off too. He's the kind of guy who loses everything every time he loses his housing. He's the kind of guy who has a name and a real name. He's the kind of guy you cry when you hug. I think we need crazy people in this world. I think the crazy people like me and maybe you are the only ones who can save the world. Just doing business as usual is horrific. We could harm the world in so many ways, but at least for now, like, life is prevailing somehow. It might be changing as the climate chaos comes, but the bugs and the microorganisms and the macroorganisms and it's sad that when the coral reef animals die and some fish, lots of animals and plants go extinct, but life is still winning in a way. So I think that life is on our side, life itself. The way that the plants, the seed wants to become a plant, to me, that wants love and truth. To me, that's truth. And that mean lady at the institution, like, she's not doing truth. And she'll never want to do truth, But then if we want to do truth, then we could be a good example, and then other people could see it. But I think her desire to lie, like her deception, that's so sad. But I'm glad it's not everybody. I hope that most people are good, I hope. And life itself is good, I think. Just the very desire to rise toward the sun, to me, that is goodness, and that's truth right there. Well, what I have done in those kind of situations would be to try to dilute it. Like, if you have a poison and it's very powerful, a compact, dense poison, and then you pour more water in it and then it gets diluted, then maybe the poison is less dangerous. So if I fill my life with good things that are separate from that, then maybe it could dilute the harm that she's doing. And also, if you're doing good to me. You're doing good to me right now, so I know it's possible. And also, maybe if, like, the pain that comes from what she's doing, if there are ways to minimize it, like, don't look at the social media where she's lying, maybe. Or to try to take the feelings and give him back to the earth. Because I think, for me, like, my feelings, I think they come from the earth, and then she can accept anything that I don't need anymore. So I try to give it back to her. and then she can absorb it and do, like recycle it. Like she could compost it and do something new. So diluting it, trying to make the fillings go back to the earth, trying to stop the places where the hurt comes in, like close off those channels. Also to vision like a future, like look forward to, okay, oh, she is going on vacation in 1 week, then I will have rest. Or this is only for 1 year. What's my motivation to finish? Or telling like a lot of people, telling people who love you, like me, and then we know what's happening, and then we can cheer for you and check on you. I don't know, that's what I do. But then I think if you need to leave, of course I would support you in that too. But yeah, those are my methods. I could tell you if I think of any more. So yeah, I'm learning about relationships, community, more about power. I'm writing a lot. I'm making art. And yeah, I made that. Remember I told you I wanted to make a file where I listed like the pictures that I want to use for the movie. And then I want to make some sound recordings too, like stimming sounds probably. So I started that file. It's very small so far, but that feels good that at least I have a real, I have a thing that I have a little progress. My phone is breaking. Like the headphone jack doesn't work anymore, and the screen is cracked and broken in one corner. So I'm gonna get a new phone probably Tuesday, and then I'm really glad. And then hopefully the video is a lot better because my old phone, the video was horrible. It would do this horrible thing, like skippy things that was not okay.
And when you were telling me doctors are not helping you, or you don't have hope from doctors, what kind of doctors?
They don't listen, and they're very behind, and they just go to the most obvious common answer when my body is not the obvious common body, like they just guess. And I'm not the first, the correct answer for my body is not the first guess, not the second guess, not the third guess. They need to work a little harder, but they're not willing to do that.
But when you were saying about the witches, where are they? Can I talk to them?
Yeah, you could talk to me. I have friends who are witches, and my good friend who's a witch, her mom is a witch, and you could just find witches around sometimes, and sometimes they could help you in your spirit. I went to that one witch about a year and a half ago to get a limpia, like to have a spirit cleansing. Like in some traditions they take an egg, like a chicken egg, and they rub the egg over your body and try to get the whatever bad could be stuck in you goes in the egg instead. They pull it out of you with the egg. And then I wanted that kind, but she didn't do that kind. But she took the cigar smoke and blew it on me, and she took flowers and wiped them on me, and took like weird perfumes and put them on me, and did prayers, and it was amazing. It was very strange. I loved it in a way, but it was also scary in a way. Because in a way, I don't want that to be real because I don't want to be vulnerable to spirit stuff. But I'm really glad I tried it. But a lot of my friends are witches, so then they pray for me. They do rituals for me. They make offerings for me. They light candles for me. So then that feels better that people are caring for me.
How do you measure, or how do you know when people care? I mean,
Oh,
how do you understand that they really care? Or
uh-huh.
yeah, and also how do you know that you are connected? Because sometimes I witness again, people use this word connection,
Yeah.
It's a fancy, sexy word in this capitalistic world, and then they use like connection, we connect each other, and but when I see them, it's not really happening there. It's just
Yeah.
wording. Or when people they talk about care. I'm now in the mental health field, and they talk
Yeah.
about care, but they don't really care. I mean, uh,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
how do you know? What is your measurement?
Mm. Well, usually I could tell if there's consistency over time, investment, if they give me things, like they give me attention, they give me time, they give me physical things to try to help me. If they keep showing up, even when it's not easy, if they keep showing up for me, how deeply they listen to me, how deeply they understand, if they follow through, like if they make an appointment and then they show up, or if they apologize and give me a good reason why they didn't, or if I feel like they really uh, comprehend what I'm saying, if they advocate for me, if they try to connect me with other people who could help me. Sometimes when they touch me, when someone touches me, I could feel if they really, if their spirit is in their body, like, or if they took their spirit and hid it deep inside and it's not really in their body. Or I could tell sometimes how they look at me. Sometimes that could be deceptive, but sometimes it works. Or their voice, how their voice sounds when they talk to me. Or sometimes I look at their body language and posture. Uh, and sometimes I see how they treat everyone. And then I look at that and say, oh, they know how to love. Because I think a lot of people don't really know how to love. But if I see how someone treats a child or an animal or a plant or their friend or a car or anything, sometimes I could see if they actually care for anything. Because some people don't seem to care about anything. Or if I see how they cook, sometimes that can help me see if they know how to love. Or if I see how they play an instrument or how they teach, or sometimes, yeah, how someone talks or writes, like their choice of words can be deceptive and full of fuckery, or the words they choose could be like more realistic and true. I don't know, maybe, or maybe, checking in is good. Just not letting the thread die. Like sometimes it's hard to tell who I should contact or how often I should contact someone, or I overwhelm people really easily with words. Like I have so many words. And sometimes, then I think, oh, maybe I'm harming them because I'm giving them too many words. But then some people, then they love that and they think it's wonderful. So then it's really, people like such different things. It's hard to tell how to find out what they really like, because sometimes you ask people and they don't even know, or they will say one thing and it's not actually true. I think most people don't even know themselves very much. So even if they wanted to tell the truth, they couldn't because they don't even know.
Okay, are we gonna wait? Or let's wait. It's gonna go.
Last time we tried to do another one and it didn't work.
Yeah, sorry.
So let's enjoy these seconds.
Yeah. I hope we can do it. I'll send you the link. Very
Okay, thank you.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, I just recorded. Are you okay with it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
Yeah, okay. How is your teeth?
I'm going in Wednesday for a procedure,
Hmm.
so I'm worried about it. But they did a temporary kind of fix, so it's not like it was before. It's much better now.
Okay.
Well, when you're in big institutions, I think they're magnets for people who want the security of institutions in order to exploit it. But I think almost every kingdom has someone who wants to be the king. So even little insignificant things have someone who wants to dominate and control and manipulate and hoard power.
I can make a difference.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, some reminder cards I have.
Uh-huh.
Do you have cards or reminders for you?
Yeah, can I show you?
Oh, yeah.
Here, I'll be right back. This is my emotional first aid kit. It has some little cards that I made for myself. They're in this little packet. So this cards, let's see what they say today. I contribute to the good of all. The light is weird, you can't see it, huh? Sorry, you cannot see it.
Sorry.
I accept myself.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if I sat somewhere different. I treat others with respect. That's true. I believe in myself. I do. I actually do. I'm kind to myself and others. Yep, pretty much. I have control over my choices. And I learn from my mistakes. Sometimes I would take one of these that I like and I would set it out for a while to just look at for a while. But some of these are kind of like the ones you read, huh? But I like them. I contribute to the good of all. I really believe that. I do really accept myself. Treating others with respect, to me, that's important because it means no matter how mean somebody is to me, at least I can know that I followed my values, you know. It's very comforting. I have a deck also that's called You Are Not Too Much. It's a deck my good friend Ariel got for me because I've struggled with that so much. So that was nice to get another perspective that I'm not too much when the whole world, my whole life has told me I am too much, you know. To me, you and I are both having a similar project of truth, and other people are having a project of denial and silencing. So to me, that's like a whole different like worldview. Unless you're the big boss, then you're allowed to like throw a fit and demand stuff and be angry. But everyone else is supposed to take their feelings, whatever they are, turn them down all the way to like a 1 out of 10 and do the work. You're there to work, not to feel.
Is there any other way that I can do for what do you need, for example?
I like that part of that one Zoom where we were stimming together.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe if that, yeah. Maybe if that we could put in there somehow.
Yeah.
Does it feel good to your body, Hyundai?
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes
Oh.
I remember you during week. I feel like Laura Marie told me that we have arms, we have our body, and I'm lucky. It just comes to my mind suddenly. I remember you.
Oh,
Yeah, and
thank
it made
you.
my world beautiful and meaningful.
Well,
Yeah.
you could see it, Hyundai. Most people can't see it. You know, they see just a
Yeah.
fat weird lady, and they don't see like the good that there could be in me. Well, I like to do it in the yard.
Yeah.
It's like a form, one of my forms of activism, but I don't know if it's catching on. We'll see. The
Yeah.
people walk their dogs. There's so many people with dogs, and they walk their dogs, and they see me moving around, and they think I'm crazy, which I am, but I'm a very nice crazy. But their dogs are very confused.
Maybe dogs enjoy it.
I know. I think so. Because they want something new, I think. Dogs want to learn too.
Yeah.
They want comfort, but they want to learn, I think. Hey, Hyundai.
Hey.
I was talking to my friend in Canada about bullying.
Oh yeah.
And I said, like, what do you do? Like, what's the best strategy? And I said how I had an impulse to apologize. So I imagined this ritual where I was with the person who was hurting me. And I said to her, like, and I asked the rest of the community to sit in a circle around us. So we're in the middle. The community is in a circle around us, surrounding us with love and support. And I said to the person in the middle with me who has been hurting me, I said, I'm so sorry at what the world has done to you. It's not fair what the world has done to you. And I see that you're hurting, and I cherish the hurt places inside of you. And please let me apologize for what has been done to you. Because I really think that, and then if I ask, like, what can I do so you'll feel better, so that you won't do these things that are scaring me? What could I do to help you? Because I think if I could explain it, I don't know, it's just a fantasy. But then I really did apologize when I had not done anything wrong. But my point is, I like apology as ritual. I like because all of us have had things done to us that are very, very wrong, even with the best of lives. So I think a lot of us wish for an apology, or holding grief, that an apology could maybe comfort the grief. All this injustice that we see and we experience is hurting us. And then some people take that pain and do work that's good, and some people take the pain and hurt others, right?
Yeah.
And some people more of a combination. So it really helped me just to imagine that ritual, even though I never did it in real life. And then I imagined if she was 2, if she was 2 years old, because I love those little 2-year-olds when they have language, but their language isn't very good yet, and they're so bright and lively and creative and kind of wiggly and kind of like I feel almost like all the kids who are 2 are so alive. So then I imagine her when she was 2 and this little beautiful child who had struggles and desires and pains and wasn't cared for properly in whatever way. And then I feel like if I could look at her and see her as a 2-year-old, then maybe that would help me. Or if I could look at her and see the angel inside of her. Because I feel like a lot of times I'll love someone and then I'll see their bad behavior, but then I'll ignore it because I'm looking at the angel inside of them. So, what if instead of loving someone and looking at the angel, what if I could have a hard time with someone and look at the angel, you know? And then I thought, what if I just saw the mystery? Because I feel like we all have mystery inside of us of the things I could never understand and just kind of try to cultivate the curiosity. So I've been thinking about that, and I've been thinking about how to get along with who's difficult and how I used to do it and how I used to hate. Like to try to protect myself, I would hate them. And now I'm not going to hate anymore. I won't there's no place in me for that anymore. So once I don't have that tool because I feel like I was using hate as a tool, then I have to find a better tool, you know. So those are some tools that I've been thinking about lately. I
Yeah,
don't know if that I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no worries. It's a really good tool. Imagining someone as 2 years old.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we all were, right? Or the little babies too.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I see someone